Welcome to Thursdays in the Kitchen with UT Extension. Starring Family Consumer Science Agent Shelby Boyer of Trousdale County, Michaela Pedigo of Macon County, and Kate Tippett of Sumner County. Now sit back and enjoy as we see what's cooking in the kitchen.
Hello everyone, welcome to episode 3 of Thursdays in the Kitchen with UT Extension. Today you have me, Kate Tippett, here with you in the kitchen. So I will be making a turkey burger recipe which is very versatile. You can make it the way that I'm going to show, which is by pressing it into a muffin tin and baking in the oven to make little turkey meatloaves. Or if you would like to grill, you could use the same size and put them on the grill as sliders, or you could press out a larger patty and make a traditional sized turkey burger. Whatever works for you and your family. So let's go ahead and get started. For this recipe, you need 1 pound of ground turkey. I chose 99% lean, but choose the percentage you like. Just make sure you're reading those nutrition facts labels. Half cup of oat crumbs or breadcrumbs. Oat crumbs means that I took some oatmeal, just plain oatmeal, put it in a blender and blended it up until it resembled breadcrumbs. 1/3 cup of salsa, half cup of shredded cheese. I used a Mexican blend, but you could use what you would like. Half cup of chopped bell peppers, 1/4 cup of chopped onion. This is optional. I will let you know I add onion into this to give my turkey a little extra moisture, because when you use 99% lean turkey, sometimes it has a tendency to dry out in the oven. Then half a teaspoon of salt and 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. So let's get this all mixed up. Alright, so I went ahead and pressed my mini turkey burgers into the greased muffin tins. A little baker's tip for you: if you're using muffin tins and you do not have all 12 full, go ahead and fill those empty ones with some regular water. That way you're tricking the muffin tins into thinking that they're all completely full with turkey burgers, so it will cook more evenly. Now I'm going to pop these in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes. Alright, so my turkey burgers turned out great. I'm just going to let those cool slightly before I serve them up to the family. Speaking of family, do what works best for yours. Maybe Mexican themed wasn't what you wanted to go with. Instead of using the oat crumbs like I did, use Italian style breadcrumbs. Go ahead, partner that with some mozzarella cheese for your cheese. You could go Greek. You could use feta cheese. Get adventurous. Use some blue cheese. It's really whatever works for you and your family. And I really hope you can enjoy this recipe together. Now on to Michaela for nutrition.
Thank you, Kate, for showing us how to make tasty turkey burgers with added vegetables inside as a healthy bonus. Now I'm going to cover some nutrition facts about turkey and methods for making leaner protein choices. Substituting ground turkey for ground beef in recipes, such as for burgers, can help to reduce saturated fat in your meals. Depending on the ratio of the percentage of lean meat versus the percentage of fat in the product you choose. Percentages of lean to fat vary in ground turkey and beef, such as these ground turkey products pictured from various companies with red boxes indicating the ratio of lean to fat percentages, with the most lean being 99% lean to 1% fat in the top left, and the least lean being 80% lean to 20% fat in the bottom right. To reduce the fat content in ground turkey, choose varieties that contain no more than 10% fat. As you can see in the pictured nutrition facts labels, a 4-ounce serving of 99% lean to 1% fat ground turkey shown on the left has approximately 130 calories, 2 grams of fat, and 26 grams of protein, versus the 93% lean to 7% fat ground turkey shown on the right, with 170 calories, 8 grams of fat, and 21 grams of protein. Therefore, that 6% of fat makes a bigger difference than you may have realized, while leaving less room for protein. Nutrients provided by a variety of protein foods differ, so we encourage you to get protein from a variety of sources. This can include seafood, lean meats, poultry, eggs, beans, peas, nuts, seeds, and soy products. When planning and purchasing for most of your meals, try to remember to choose leaner protein sources and to add in vegetables as able for more flavor and healthy nutrients, like the turkey burger recipe that Kate showed us how to make. Next up is Shelby covering food safety tips related to E. coli.
Thank you, Michaela, and hi, my name is Shelby Boyer, and today I'm coming to you to talk to you about some food safety 101. And we are going to be talking about sometimes the nasty, sometimes the terrible, and sometimes the awful E. coli. So what is E. coli? E. coli are bacteria that is found in the environment, it's in your food and intestines of people and animals. So it is found a lot in intestines of animals, and especially when they use them to make their meat products with. So how is it transmitted? It is transmitted through contaminated water or food, or through contact with animal or people. So sometimes we can eat something that's going to cause us to get E. coli, something that we can come in contact with, such as if we pet animals and we don't wash our hands afterwards, and things along those lines. But E. coli is transmitted that way, and it is spreadable. Some forms of E. coli are good, and then there are some forms that are bad. So today we're talking about the bad E. coli. There are some symptoms of E. coli. So what are those symptoms? So usually you can feel it after 3 to 4 days, but majority of the time you are going to feel it like between 1 to 10 days. After consuming an item containing the bacteria, you're going to experience a lot of vomiting, you're going to experience some fevers of 102 or higher, diarrhea if you have blood in your stool, and if you have a hard time keeping food down and you're not producing enough urine, that is when you would want to go and see your doctor. How can I prevent E. coli? Know your chances. Knowing your chances of how immune or how susceptible you are to getting E. coli is very important. So if you have a lower immune system, if it's compromised, if you're pregnant, if you are a younger child, sometimes those are people that are more immune or more capable of catching E. coli compared to others. So just kind of know your chances and kind of be aware of those if you are one of those. Practice proper hygiene. This includes hand washing. We have been enforcing hand washing like crazy, but it's one of the best ways to prevent the spread of diseases. So make sure that you hand wash all the time, 20 seconds underneath that warm water with soap, and make sure you do it, especially after you touch like animals. If you pet animals, especially ones that you're not in contact with all the time, so like if you go to a petting zoo, always make sure you wash your hands, different things like that, but just definitely make sure that you practice that proper hygiene. Wash produce under running water. So when I say produce, this really just means your fruit and your vegetables. We do not like to wash any meat product under the sink because a lot of times germs are spread everywhere when you do that. So wash your fruits and your vegetables under running water, because if the water is constantly running, then the bacteria is running off down into your sink. Don't let them sit in the water, because even if you let them sit in the water and then eventually drain the water, the produce is still going to have that bacteria on them. So make sure when you wash it, it's under running water. Cook meats through. So you want to make sure that you cook your meats to the internal temperature that is required, and so that way your E. coli and bacteria is dead and you do not contain it. So majority of the time, if you look on different websites or if you have a meat thermometer at home, you can use that. Such as things like probably even your turkey and your poultry. You want to cook them at least to like 160, 165, so that way that all of your E. coli and things like that are away. Pork and some beef products, it just varies depending on what kind of cuts of meat you're using, but just make sure that you research those and that you have those on hand, so that way all the bacteria is gone. And you want to make sure that you're not crossing with other foods. So cross-contamination. For example, if I use a cutting board to cut up my produce with, I don't want to use the same cutting board to cut up my meat with. You want to make sure that you do not cross-contaminate between two things that should not. Clean knives, always wash hands when you're handling meat produce and stuff like that. Just make sure that you practice all of these proper things and all of this proper hygiene tools that we provided you today. Look up and ask questions if you need to in regards to making sure that your meat is cooked properly. So, with that being said, thank you all so much for tuning in to Thursdays in the Kitchen with UT Extension. Again, my name is Shelby Boyer, and I'm so excited to see you next time. Bye!